I spoke to an analyst yesterday morning after the debate, and I have now consumed a lot of the after conversations from the debate. And one of the things that keeps getting brought up is the fact that on stage Vivek said that Donald Trump was one of the best or the best president of the 21st century. And the question that keeps getting brought up after his very complimentary comments on Trump, why is he running against him?
Because he believed he is the best person to pick the ball up from where Trump left it and run all the way into the end zone. We call it Trump 2.0 or MAGA 2.0. And listen, here's the reality. I know people seem to be very confused on why someone would be complimentary of their opponent. But the reality is, Vivek can do this because he does not suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. So he does not feel a knee jerk reaction once he hears the name of Trump to to say something disparaging about him. I think the media and several on that debate stage in the Republican Party is doing a fine enough job of that on their own. They certainly don't need Vivek to pile in on that. And because he doesn't suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, he can say honestly that he appreciates the what many of the things that the former president Donald Trump did. I believe most people appreciate what Donald Trump did, what he did with the border, what he did in de-escalating a nuclear war with North Korea. That was going to happen, and if it wasn't for Donald Trump, we would have had that. Now you see what happens when you have the likes of Democrats and their ideology having control of many of the levers of our country. They're now in control, and life could not be more miserable for the majority of Americans. When you look at inflation, when you look at the joblessness, when you look at our borders and fentanyl, and the fact that people are just walking, skipping over into our country, not feeling any sense of hesitation to do so. In fact, the cartels have now built a tunnel underneath our border and just driving trucks into it. You see fentanyl ravishing communities all across this nation. Democrats control virtually every lever in our country, and our lives have never been more miserable with them in control and with their way of thinking. Leading our country. And so I think a lot of people are now looking back. I know specifically in the Black community, it's they people are waking up to the reality that maybe Donald Trump wasn't as bad, and I think a lot of people can recognize that. And yet at the same time, we realize that there are some things that Donald Trump was not able to do. We don't want a lame duck president in office. We want someone who has the ability to run and occupy that office for 8 years. And quite frankly, there were things that Donald Trump could have gotten done, did not get done. And so Vivek believe he is the best person positioned in order to win by a moral landslide, by a very large number. We can't get someone in office who can only win by 50 plus 1%. We need someone who has the ability to win by a landslide so that we have the mandate from the people to go into Washington, D.C., and to get the job done of shutting down the FBI, shutting down the IRS, and many other alphabet organizations, and to give the power back to the people.